It's the Real Estate Podcast, across every state, city and town of Australia.
And welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Podcast, available on iHeartRadio every morning and also on Spotify and Apple and wherever you get your podcast from. The weekend, yes, it's finally arrived. Another Saturday morning around Australia. The third day, 3 days into spring for September of 2022. And if you're checking out real estate across either today or tomorrow, then good luck with that. And if you're a builder under the pump working today, working 7 days a week and struggling with any contracts because of the soaring price of building materials, then that is a hard position to be in. It's something that we're going to look at on the podcast next week because some builders have just walked away from building sites, but there are others who are struggling on and toughing it out.
It's your Saturday morning real estate breakfast.
So coming up this morning, we are on our road trip in Queensland. It's a virtual road trip, having gone past Brisbane yesterday, where we travelled 3 hours north and arrived in Hervey Bay, right on the Fraser Coast. And very shortly we'll be talking with Scott Mitchell, who is going to give us the complete rundown on what the Hervey Bay real estate is doing right at the minute. So that is on its way shortly. And don't forget, tomorrow we have the Sunday Real Estate Rewind, where we look back over the last 7 days of interviews and analysis. And it has been another busy week. If you're celebrating your birthday on this third day for September of 2022. Enjoy your Saturday. You are celebrating your birthday from somebody that we don't really hear very much of. He was very popular 10 years ago, Charlie Sheen. He is celebrating his birthday. He is turning 56 today. And if you do any sort of buying and selling on eBay, it was on this day in 1995 that the internet giant eBay was founded.
We talk with leading property commentators with analysis, predictions, forecasts and what's trending every morning from 6:30. It's the Main Centre Forecast with PRD, selling smarter every day.
All right, heading around Australia and checking on your weather on this weekend. First, we go to Sydney, unfortunately expecting some rain and a high of 17 degrees. Also, the wet stuff grabbed the raincoat and the brolly in Melbourne today. 1 or 2 showers, 14 is your forecast high. Brisbane, the rain is going to clear and a high of 19 degrees. And in Perth, expecting also 19 degrees and some rain with showers.
It's your weekend real estate breakfast, a serial-sized podcast about what's happening in your local backyard every Saturday morning on the Real Estate Podcast. We're just as addicted to property as you are. Every weekday morning from 6:30.
Well, earlier this week, we were talking about the Sunshine Coast and the desirability of living in a warmer climate that Queensland offers. And what we're going to do this morning is go a little bit further north, and this time to Hervey Bay, and catch up with Scott Mitchell, who is the principal of Mitchell Realty. And a very good morning to you, Scott.
Yeah, good morning, mate. How are you?
Pretty well. So Hervey Bay, I think it was known, it had the reputation as the capital for retirees, but since COVID that's changed a little bit. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, it has. We've been here in Hervey Bay ourselves now, myself and my wife Katrina, for 17 years this year. And the town has steadily grown throughout that period. But ironically, since COVID, we've seen a dramatic increase in our buyer population and the demand for housing. So our demographic is changing with that, because with that we're seeing significant construction projects going ahead, new estates, tradies. You can't get a tradie at at the moment if you try to get a tradie. Also, because of the age demographic, the medical services have expanded significantly over the last 3 years. I jokingly say we've got a medical centre just about on every second corner now. And those medical professionals are usually that middle-aged demographic. They've got kids, they're on obviously higher incomes, and they're changing the face of Hervey Bay. We're getting more retail outlets, more cafes, restaurants. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing a change in our demographic. Hervey Bay in the last 6 months has experienced the largest real estate boom in its history to date.
Wow, that sounds impressive. And of course, you're right there on the Fraser Coast, of course, so we should probably highlight that because you really are a bit of a mecca for tourism.
Yeah, certainly. That was up until probably the last 5 years. Our major draw card and employment was through tourism. Obviously, we are the whale watching capital of Australia. Some would say we're the whale watching capital of the world. Unquestionably, the whale watching in Hervey Bay is world class and second to none. If anyone hasn't done it, you should certainly go and do that. And we are sheltered by Gari, which is Fraser Island. The predominant southeasterly trade winds. We've got sheltered waters. Hervey Bay has got a 14, 16 kilometre long esplanade that is due north facing, and we don't have surf beaches. So we've got a calm, sheltered, very safe swimming beach that runs the whole length of our esplanade. And we've got the most the most temperate subtropical climate in Australia.
Yes, and I remember going for a swim in Torquay Bay.
Exactly. It's one of our popular bayside suburbs is Torquay. And that's the beauty of Hervey Bay. When you go along our esplanade, we were just a collection of small villages, really, which have now all really combined to form one that is now a city. Hervey Bay is certainly heading in that direction now.
All right, so let's have a look at some of these stats because last year the stats reflected that Hervey Bay saw an 18.3% increase in house prices. Units went up as well. Median house price in Hervey Bay last year was just over $400,000. I think for a house, and units were just over 300,000. I mean, that's pretty good buying. So what is happening right now in 2022 in terms of the median house price?
Yeah, my feel has been that we've seen since January 2022, we've seen an increase across the board for predominantly houses, whilst we still have seen an increase in demand and sales on units and townhouses. The majority of the purchases have definitely been residential homes, freestanding homes. Our expectation is we've seen a 33% increase in values this year alone. So it has been a significant increase. But in saying that, we came off a very low base. Like Hervey Bay, the cycle over the last, say, 15 years, we sort of peaked back in 2008 after the second largest growth spurt in Hervey Bay's history between sort of 2002 and 2007. And then we lost really nearly all that growth after the GFC. So we came from a very low base. So whilst 33% growth this year alone sounds impressive, and it is, we feel as though we've still got a long way to go as yet as far as our values. And when compared against Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast markets, we're still really affordable.
So what do you say to those young families who might right now sort of be looking at the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast and saying, well, the price increases here are really starting to get up. Is there a location that we could go to? So what would you say to somebody that may sort of be thinking, well, maybe a location shift?
Yeah, well, look, if they haven't already looked at Hervey Bay or considered Hervey Bay, they should certainly do so because it is a wonderful location to live. It is a lifestyle location. As we just touched on, we've got one of the best climates in the country. We're blessed by having Gari, Fraser Island on our doorstep. It's a water wonderland around us in Hervey Bay. You can definitely do worse than live here. So if you can seize an employment opportunity that will allow you to live and work in Hervey Bay, we're still really affordable compared to the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Brisbane markets, and you get to live in a wonderful location.
And just lastly, before I let you go, so just sticking with that, of course, so many of these people have done the move interstate in a lot of cases because they're able to work from home. So what anecdotally have you seen in Hervey Bay around people moving there? They've got the ability to work from home.
Yeah, that has been a big trend. So unquestionably, those that have, through the COVID pandemic, realised that they have been able to work remotely from home, that allows them to move anywhere really within the country to do that. Affordability and lifestyle that comes with living in Hervey Bay is second to none. So if you are able to do that, and we have seen a lot of those purchases move out of those heavily populated centres, or where you had to commute for an hour and a half every day to get to work. If you can work from home now, why wouldn't you want to do that in Hervey Bay?
Yes, exactly. All right, Scott, thanks for joining us this morning on the Real Estate Podcast, and enjoy your day there in Hervey Bay in all that sunshine.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a glorious day here today coming up again, and always be happy to catch up with you guys. So feel free to look us up whenever required.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.